welcome to News on Purpose. I'm your host, Jakara Ann Holman, and I represent none other than myself and News on Purpose by Jakara Ann Holman. I like to say my name so you remember it. So, I start every day with motivation because it's always good to get started on the right foot. So, I have a word for you today, and that word is happy are those who take life day by day, complain very little, and are thankful even for the very little things in life, the small things. Speaking of being thankful, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to Northside Awesome Fund for your generous grant. Thank you so much for supporting News on Purpose. Now, the topic of today, and every day, is Black culture. Our recordings and time together will include news from different sources. We will debunk some of the trending false information and bring and shine light amidst the darkness. But before we do any of that, I have an intro video that I'm very proud of. Hint is up me. Let's watch it. With News on Purpose, you are getting the news with purpose, personality, and pulse because it's all live and all real. So we're going to cover the news, what you should know. In world news, you should know that tomorrow is Juneteenth, also referred to as June 19th or Juneteenth. Some may refer to it as Freedom Day, but some are also like, hey, I heard of it, but what's the big deal? Well, I'll tell you. Juneteenth for the African American community means Freedom Day, or the Day of Emancipation. See, on January 1st, 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves. However, the South is always the last to get things, like the last to get the kicks, the fashion, and the trends, as well as to get freed. The news did not travel to Texas, and slaves were still, slaved. For 2.5 years, they stayed slaves. And it wasn't until General Gordon Granger made an announcement on June 19, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, freeing the remaining enslaved African Americans. Slaves and slave owners then became employees for wages. No more free labor, no more free smoke. And tomorrow, you can expect black and browns coming out into the city from everywhere. It's going to be scary, it's going to be sexy, and it's going to be cool. There will be cookouts, there will be barbecues and fireworks, parades to celebrate the date all slaves were freed equally. This date represents a monumental moment in history. So, if you didn't know, now you know. You're welcome. For the Black community, Juneteenth is our Independence Day. The holiday was originally called June 19th, and later, because we like to shorthand things, so we merged June 19th together, and now it's just Juneteenth. Stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you some events that are happening on this date. Oh yeah, and what a time it is. What a day to be alive, as our grandmothers say. Another triumph to celebrate is many black label brands, that was never black to begin with, are getting a facelift. I'm talking about brands like Aunt Jemima Buckwheat Pancakes, who spearheaded this move. Quaker Oats, the owner of the brand, issued this statement. I'm going to read it in their voice. As we work to make progress toward racial equality through several initiatives, we also must take a hard look at our portfolio of brands and ensure they reflect our values and meet customers' expectations. That's my Quaker Oats voice. On their trails is Uncle Ben's, known for brown rice and Cajun rice recipes, jambalaya, and gumbo, just to name a few. The brand owner, Mars, issued this statement. Now is the right time to evolve the Uncle Ben's brand, including its visual brand identity, which we will do. We don't yet know what the exact changes and timing will be, but we are evaluating all possibilities. I call booty. The reason is, I will add that this brand have been addressed for many years, asking them to change their logo, their labeling, change the black face on there. And it seems as though a lot of brands and companies are jumping on the pro-black ship, the pro-Black Lives Matter ship. Though it's appreciated, we know that it wasn't a true decision of moral value. I said it. Last to mention is Mrs. Butterworth's syrup. I actually grew up on this syrup. I had it every time I went to Mississippi. Mrs. Butterworth's brand owner issued this statement. The Butterworth's brand, including syrup's packaging, is intended to evoke the images of a loving grandmother. We stand behind our black and brown communities, and we can see that our packaging may be interpreted in a way that is wholly inconsistent with our values. I'll say it's a little fishy, but it is progress. It's actually like waiting for your racist grandparents to finally come around and see the light. Well, in other news, like sports news, the New York Jets player Kyrie Irving is trying to create his own league and trying to bring some of his fellow mates and players along with him. Oh, and guess what else? Blue Ivy Carter, at only age 8, has her very first BET nomination. Yes, at just 8 years old. She has this nomination from a tune of her mother's called Brown Skin Girl, which she was featured in. Well, because I cannot actually play it because then YouTube won't pay me, and I can't sing it because then my teenage sister won't claim me, so you'll have to go on YouTube or any other streaming platforms and listen to it for yourself. Now, I am excited to share some events with you. One of the events is in the morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have the Juneteenth Harambe event taking place at Hawthorne Crossings, 912 West Broadway Avenue in Minneapolis, Minnesota. As I mentioned, the time is from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The guest reader is Rose McGee, author of Kumbaya, the Juneteenth story. Bring the kids. Second is the Juneteenth Community Festival and Rally for Justice, located in the parking lot of Cub Foods on Broadways. Well, Cub Foods is gone, so now we have a whole parking lot to do things in. That location is 701 West Broadway Avenue. The time is from 12 to 6 p.m. Come for free food from Pimento Jamaican Kitchen, free diaper and household item giveaways, live musical performances, which will begin at 4 p.m. in honor of George Floyd and all stolen lives. Also happening is the Juneteenth Reparations Rally, taking place at the Minnesota State Capitol. The program will start at 1 p.m. It is for all ages and is hosted by Black Lives Matter Minnesota. We also have because we have something for everyone, and for our artist community, there is a barbecue and open mic at the West Minnehaha Rec Center, where there will be live music, free food, I only pay when it's free, and it's a creative galore. Last, we have the Juneteenth celebration, Unite and Rebuild Minneapolis St. Paul, which is partnered with KFAI. Special guest speaker is Dr. Brittany Lewis on the history of Juneteenth and the urgency of now. Performances by award-winning Jamesia Bennett and The Movement. There will be other great jam sessions as well. Now, for other events, because not everyone lives in Minnesota that watch this program, I encourage you to go on Facebook, because that's where I got all my information about what's happening in my city. Also, if you don't have Facebook, check out your Google image. And in closing, I want to once again thank the Northside Awesome Fund for your generous grant. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching News on Purpose. But before you go, always remember, stop living to exist. Start living on purpose. And you can do so with News on Purpose. I am your girl, Jakara N. Holman. Until next time, have a great day.